Week 9. Watch the game. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Now that we got all that out the way, it's week 9. We reviewing it. The Bears get a win. The NFC North is tightening up. Big shout out to my man Will Bates. I want to send a shout out to my people that went to the game in Cincinnati to go see the Bears win this shootout of a victory, 47-42 Bears. My man DJ Get Down. I think Big Al Train, Al Taylor, and my classmate Kevin King. I think I got them all covered. Now, the Bears went to Cincinnati and got the win, and they were able to sit back and enjoy the festivities. I forget the name of that football field in Cincinnati, but they had a great time.
Stadium, I think.
They had a great time in Cincy. Penn, what you got to say? What's your perspective? I think I got some interesting things to say about this matchup, but I don't want to spoil it for you. I know you satisfied with the victory, but what's your perspective on this game?
I mean, first, I would be remiss if I did not get the appropriate birthday shout out to the other component counterpart to this pod that we do. My man L.A. Cheatham is his birthday today, so he was reluctant to say that part in the shout outs when he opened up the show, but I got it.
I feel you. Thank you. Something brown in the glass.
I ain't even got nothing brown tonight. I'm tripping.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, the Bears game. You know what? I could sum this one up real quick. We as Bears fans traditionally, historically, see them lose games in the most harebrained, dumb, hilarious, painful ways. And it's just nice to be on the other side of it. Now, the defense gave up 42 points. I know a lot of them was banged up. But 42 points in the NFL game, that's not something this is not college football. This is not what we see on Saturdays. A high-scoring NFL game is like, 35 in that range.
Yeah.
It was 10 points over that. Yeah. So I'm just happy that we was able to leave Cincinnati, Ohio with the victory, because as you can see that thing unraveling and going the wrong way. And then my man Hardy got hit with the onside kick. I was like, we really about to lose this game. And then when I saw, not Cole, it was Colston, catch the ball and they missed them tackles, I was like, yo, it's 17 seconds left. We still might lose. So that's how crazy that game was. So I was just happy we was on the right side of it. We can get into the particulars, but that was my key takeaway. 5-3.
Yeah. I shouted out Will Bates, the Thrill, Will Bates. He came on in the social media platform. I think it was Facebook, Instagram, and usually my man suited and booted, got his shades on, got it. He usually have, at least on Sunday, he usually have on his Bears gear, you know what I mean, a jersey or something. But he was so pumped up yesterday. He came on in his wife beater. He told everybody. I think he was directing it towards me. He said, "All you fair weather Bear fans, go root for another team."
Hey, he probably came out that gear. That's why he was in his wife beater, because that game was stressful.
Will, man, hey, if I ever need somebody in my corner, that's why I'm on Will on my side, man. Because Will got your back, man. But for the Bear fans that able to enjoy that game, including yourself, I'm happy for you. But I do have some concerns. As you know, I take the opportunity now that I'm suspended with my fandom, and I do my best to watch I try and watch every game I can on Sunday. I used to be just dialed in on Bears on Sundays, but now I'm blessed to be able to watch as much football as I can in real time. And I watch around the league, and I'm going to tell you this. Caleb Williams is definitely in a class of his own. No one else in the National Football League plays quarterback like Caleb Williams. Now, that may be a good thing if he can win that way consistently. But what I'm saying is, I have some concerns, and these are my concerns. Bears put up 47 points yesterday, won the football game. Special teams had issues. Defense had some issues. One true fact is the Cincinnati Bengals may be the worst, absolute worst defense in the NFL. They most definitely are the worst tackling defense in the NFL. Now, special teams. Bears are bad on special teams. From the opening kickoff, this was proven. Down at the end, down towards the end of the regulation, this was proven. Giving up the opening kickoff, giving up a touchdown on the opening kickoff was fact number one. And then not recovering or not having a decent hands team on the field for an onside kick that everyone knew was coming. Special teams, special teams, special teams.
Field goal too?
Yeah, they missed the field goal, but those are the two biggest plays that I can remember right now. You can, in between this, they did miss field goal. So Moody might be getting called up. Cairo might be getting let go. Who knows? But kicking is a problem as well, because apparently Cairo is having a problem kicking beyond 45, 50 yards.
And we just saw somebody yesterday kick a 68-yarder.
Yes. That was in the Jaguars and Raiders game. Am I correct?
Yep.
That was indoors. But yet and still, it was 68 yards. So in today's NFL, you have to have the ability to kick 55 and better just to compete. And I'm just being honest, and I can understand that. So if we see that the Bears either release Cairo or give Moody more of a shot, we can pretty much say we expecting that to happen. On the touchdown pass with Colston Loveland, when he caught the pass at the end of the game to take it in for a touchdown, that was the best, absolute best throw of the game for Caleb Williams. We all know that they were probably just trying to get in field goal range, but this is where the poor tackling of the worst defensive tackling football team in the NFL creeps up. Now, he threw the ball in between three defenders. No one brought Loveland down. He marched into the end zone. Poor tackling. And I know you probably saw the reaction of Chase and the guys going into locker room for Cincinnati, getting some sound bites from their post-game interviews. They're about to go into a bye week. They probably do need to get the hell away from each other right now.
Yeah. Again, us being on the right side of it, but the Bengals, we tried, I guess, everything we could to lose that game, and so did the Bengals.
The referees were, the referee was a little questionable too. The refereeing in the NFL is consistently,
it's been down this year,
bad or down, or have you may see it. Us being fans, we could say that. I think you pick a game, someone's getting the raw deal, and I think they giving it all. I think it's kind of even all around the board, but most fans would think it's kind of slighted. But I do listen to a lot of the Monday morning talk shows from different markets, and we all feel the same way
Yeah,
that the referee,
yeah.
everybody's getting holds down,
We
win,
got
lose, or draw.
last week on the DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, yeah,
Seal the game.
yeah,
We got hosed on that. So I mean, I guess bad is bad across the league, and then you're not exempt.
yeah.
Caleb, remember he was clearly out of bounds and he got two-hand pushed, and they didn't call, what is it, rough in the pass or whatever that penalty would
Yeah.
be in that.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get the extra 15 yards, but that was
Unsportsmanlike, rough, and yep, exactly.
yeah. But if it was Patrick Mahomes, they probably would have gave him 30 yards.
Yeah, yeah. There is a bias when it comes to which quarterback, gets the benefit of the doubt when they call those roughing penalties. Also, I don't want to get off topic. I seen I forget what game I was watching where the guy just pretty much just squared up, and I can't remember which quarterback it was, and it looked like a legal hit. He wrapped him up and put him to the ground. And they called roughing on that. I didn't see, anything shot to a helmet or nothing like that. But it's like they're getting a little too delicate with their quarterbacks, in my opinion, from time to time.
When did
But that's
this
neither here nor there.
thing?
I do have some concerns
Yeah.
about the Chicago Bears. I'm gonna get off into them. So I say the Bears scored 47 points. Ben Johnson coached and called offensively a hell of a football game. Shout out to Kyle Monangai. I think it was like 25 carries or something like that.
26.
For 26 carries, 176 yards. That's 6.8 yards per average of runs of a rush. No touchdowns. Unfortunately, he didn't get into the end zone. But I got to give him his game ball, which is what he received in the locker room. But Ben Johnson stayed committed to the run game, and that was able to set things up for play action. It was able to calm Caleb down a bit. And when they got in the red zone, we know that the Bears have been struggling to get touchdowns in the red zone. And this was the game. As well as Caleb performed, he had a major stat line here. He had 4 touchdowns. He caught a touchdown pass. I think he threw a touchdown pass or 2. 3. Well, 4 touchdowns. He contributed to 4 touchdowns. But this is what I think. Ben Johnson was going into this game concerned about the red zone offense, knowing that playing Cincinnati, you're going to have to score points. Touchdowns, not field goals. So I noticed that early in the game, Caleb wasn't as patient as you probably wanted him to be in the pocket, and that's why I say he's in a class of his own. No one else plays the position like Caleb. Because I watched around the league yesterday, and I went back and watched the game just for this point, just to see how guys approach playing in the pocket. Caleb ejects the pocket an awful lot. And he breaks the pocket an awful lot, and it ends up to being hero ball or whatever. Not as much as last season. So I got to give him credit for that. But this is what I'm getting to. So they get in the red zone. And I think Ben Johnson is concerned about them scoring touchdowns and not field goals in the red zone. So he started dialing up the trick plays.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the reason why. He needs touchdowns. And by him dialing up these trick plays, he's taking the pressure off Caleb to make a specific pass or play. And genius. He dialed up the trick plays. He limit Caleb's mistakes. You got simple instructions on these plays. I don't give a damn if you're throwing that pass or catching the pass. You have a specific job. He took a lot of responsibility away from Caleb in the red zone and allowed, the ball to get to the playmakers, even if it was some deception involved. That's why I say he did a hell of a job figuring out a way to score touchdowns in the red zone and not field goals, because we know the Bears have struggled in the red zone,
Yeah.
in past few weeks. And great job on behalf of Ben Johnson doing that. How do you feel about? How do you? That's my perspective. What do
No,
you think?
uh, I don't think it was more so about the Cincinnati. He knew he had to get touchdowns to beat them. I think it was more so to your second point. Bears been struggling in the red zone. What can I do to fix this, to jumpstart this? And as a result, he took the ball out of Caleb's hands per se, somewhat,
Yeah.
because they needed to be more efficient in the red zone. What we had seen through the first 8 games, 7 games,
Yeah.
he's missing guys. Ball's supposed to go out to the flat. He don't want to throw it there. He's holding on to it too long. I do watch Caleb play, and it looks like he's just waiting for the pocket to break down just so he can go try and play that hero ball shit. That's what bothers me the most about watching him play, because if you look at the last drive before he threw it to Colston, the 2 plays before that, he was back and forth scrambling, trying to make something happen in the pocket. And I'm looking like, where's your situational awareness? You running back and forth, you running time off of the clock. Get the ball out of your hands. Take what you're gonna get. All we needed is they needed a field goal at that point, right?
Yeah.
All you need is a field goal. Take what you can get. And he's taking an extra 6-7 seconds off of the clock doing this back and forth stuff. And if you watch the game, you can see it's like when he get them opportunities, he's like, oh, okay, this is my time to show him I can. So yeah, Ben Johnson did a great job dialing up the quote unquote trick plays. I heard, story came out of Hallis Hall that, they saw Cole Kmet throw the ball to the equipment guy, and he was like, man, he got a hose. And he drew up that play right on the spot. And they practiced it on Friday. It worked, and then they put it in the game plan. He said he was going to call it the first play of the game. So, so I do believe that he was just like, you know what? I'm a better coach than he is a quarterback right now.
Yeah, right now, yes.
So I got to do this. And I think that's, to your point, that's exactly what he did. I got to take it out of his hands a little bit until he starts seeing what I need him to see more often.
Yeah, I agree. And I think like I said, I'm giving him his credit for that. I mentioned Kyle Monangai just carrying the load with DeAndre Swift being out. No one saw this coming. 176 yards rushing. Like I say again, unfortunately didn't get in the end zone. But his efforts and his ability and his youthful legs, because that's big time. 176 yards. If you look back from rushing yards, that's Walter Payton type stuff. That's historic. That's historical Walter Payton type stuff. Now, if I say, unfortunately, he didn't get in the end zone, but you can't. You got to give him his on that one. Also, the big criticism in recent weeks is that they drafted Colston Loveland. When were they going to dial his number and get him involved? As we see, Colston got 2 touchdown passes, including the game-winning touchdown that was probably intended to go just to get field goal range.
Yeah.
But for tackling, he takes it to the house. Colston Loveland put his name on the map, especially good timing for him because Cole Kmet went down with a concussion. So we don't know how long he's going to be out with this concussion protocol. So defensively, CD Gardner Johnson, am I right?
Yeah, he wasn't he on the Eagles for a minute, then he just got picked up on Wednesday last.
Yeah. For him to get the start and for Coach Allen to dial up him early on a blitz, got him involved extremely early. He got to give it to him. Everybody said it was a desperate move on behalf of the Bears. Maybe it was, but it looked good because Montez Sweat, he had a sack. Austin Booker came out. He late game adjustments. They weren't getting much pressure on Flacco. Flacco had a career day. I'll dial those numbers up in a minute.
I
31 of 47, 470 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions, but 47 passes, 470 yards, career day. But late in that game, they did dial up a couple of situations where they could get to him and sack him and, kind of put him behind the sticks. So they made a couple big plays when they needed to. Um, Edmonds with the interception. Did someone else? He threw 2 picks. Who had the other interception?
Nashawn Wright, 26.
Nashawn Wright. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, 2 interceptions. So once again, the defense get them 2 turnovers. They win the takeover. And they win the football game. And that's pretty much the formula for the Bears. That's been the formula. Win the turnover battle. Some way, somehow, they figure out a way to win. Giving up 42 points. Maybe don't want to do that. But that was a little bit of special teams as well. So, special teams got to most definitely do better. Defense got to get better. The complimentary football has to pick up. But Bears get a win. They don't go on a losing streak. Last year, they were 4-2. Lost that game to, I think, the Commanders and went on that 10-game losing streak. This year, had an opportunity to change the fortunes right away, and that's what they did. What else can you say? That's all you can do. You can beat the team in front of you. But unless you want to elaborate more on this game, we can jump into the rest of the division. But I'm gonna let you finish that up. I mean, I think I have pounded that. I think I pounded that game up pretty cool. I mean, I'm cool with it.
No, the one thing that's kind of troubling one player on the defense is what's his name? Nashawn Wright. Because he makes plays, but he also gives up plays.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm watching him play, and I'm like, man, that's gonna be a big moment when he give up a play. You know what I'm saying? Like, because his plays that he makes aren't game sealing plays, maybe not even game, momentum changing plays, other than the first game versus the Vikings, but we still ended up losing that game. But I mean, like even the touchdown T. Higgins caught, which was a great catch, but you got him falling all out of bounds and out the play. I'm like, come on, dog. Like,
yeah, that was, man. Yeah, you right on point with that. When you bring that up, that was a big play. I mean, just like, if he keeps his balance, not only does he make the catch, but maybe he can just get him out of bounds. But it turned into a touchdown,
exactly.
And that was like right at the end of the half, wasn't it?
I think second quarter or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that time all they really wanted was a field goal, but he gave up the touchdown, and they go in the locker room with momentum. So, yeah, man, defense most definitely, and also consider the defensive secondary is banged up. That's the reason why he's out there.
Penalties.
So he's gaining experience with those good and bad plays. So, because it's evident they're going to need him unless they make a trade at the deadline, which is hours away as we speak. Other than that, if you don't make a move, you're gonna be dependent on this guy. So yeah, big time experience. Fortunately enough, they go out and they get the win in Cincinnati. And like I said, that's pretty much it for me on that game. I mean, Bears get a win, but tonight, with that win, the Bears and the Vikings got a win. The return of J.J. McCarthy. They go into Detroit and get a huge win.
First win in Detroit in 5 years.
Yeah, amazing. JJ McCarthy, 14 to 25, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Not a great day, but from a perspective of making plays, he made plays. Made plays. I mean, and like I say, he had a pick. He did have a pick, but he made plays. And to go back home, not he's from Chicago, but to go back to Michigan where he was a national champion going up against his former teammate Aiden Hutchinson. Uh, Big win for the Vikings because that was what they needed. JJ looked like after the Bears, after he came out and they got that big game against the Bears in week 1. JJ seemed to struggle with some things, and then they bring in Wentz. JJ goes down with an ankle injury, and he also had his first son as well. I forget what they named the young man, but the young kid, but he had his first son, all in that same and then that same 2 or 3 week span. So he goes down with the ankle injury, and he sits back and he watches uh, Wentz play his position, and they got off to a big. I think they had a big victory, a big blowout victory against Cincinnati when Wentz took over. I think they got 5 turnovers in that game, but JJ had a chance to sit back, watch Wentz do his thing. Wentz struggled, so it wasn't always the best of examples, but JJ looked yesterday in Detroit like he played with a lot of anticipation. It looked like he was willing to make plays with his feet when he had to, and maybe he grew a little bit in those few weeks that was able to sit back and watch. Only time will tell. Um,
I think,
Defensively, go ahead.
yeah, I think I still don't know what JJ is as a quarterback, but I think just watching him over his career at Michigan and just the little limited time he's had on the field in the NFL, we saw what he did versus the Bears on Monday Night Football. We saw what he did yesterday. Like once if he figures it out, dude's a winner. So he gonna be all right if he learns how to play the position at the pro level, if he got the tools and everything he needed at this level to be, a quarterback. But the intangibles, getting guys to follow you, being a leader, just having guys buy into he got that. He's a winner.
Yeah,
So
he most definitely got that. If he continues to play the way he did yet Sunday, that won't be a problem. Uh, uh, Sitting under Coach O'Connell with his reputation for getting the most out of quarterbacks, it was a step in the right direction. But we need to see consistency because we saw him have a decent second half against the Bears, maybe even just the fourth quarter, and then he's tend to struggle after that. But nice game for JJ yesterday. They even got the running game going. It's amazing what the running game would do for any quarterback, not just the young ones, but Aaron Jones with 9 carries for 78 yards, no
he ended up getting
touchdowns.
banged up too.
Say that again.
Aaron Jones, he got hurt yesterday.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's enough. That's something we talked about before we went on was the injuries.
Yeah.
Um, and talking about that, I think I talked about Cole Kmet going down for the Bears with a going into concussion protocol, but also on defense, the Bears lost Deo. I can't remember number 55. I can't remember his name. I don't want to mess the brother's name up. But a lot of key injuries in the league yesterday. We talk about later as we go on. But um, back to this Minnesota game. Minnesota's defense played really well, even though the Lions they had some turnovers, some key turnovers, but they figured out a way to make it close at the end. But once again, JJ McCarthy made a play to get in victory formation, and that's how it went down in Detroit. Big game by JJ. Way to come back for him. The NFC North is getting tight as we speak. I think the Packers are still at top of the division at what I don't have the standings, but I think they're at the top of the division. Then they're being followed by Detroit, and then Chicago, and then the Vikings. But the Vikings at 500, and I know the Bears, Lions, and the Packers are at least 2 games above 500. So it's tightening up in NFC North as we speak. The Bears have the Giants coming in to Soldier Field next week.
Trap game.
Yeah, and but and then the other thing is the other game that was in question, the inconsistency of the Green Bay Packers. A key injury in that game with what's the tight end's name again?
Craft.
Tucker Craft went down, and I don't know if that had something to do with the rhythm of the offense with the Green Bay Packers yesterday. I want to say he went down in the late in the second quarter or early in the third. And kind of like when CD Lamb went down against the Bears weeks ago, it kind of changes it might change up how you dial up your playbook according to your install, because Tucker was a big part of the passing game, a big pacifier for Jordan Love. And to take him off the field, it had to have an effect. So, but the Packers lose to the Carolina Panthers
On
in another low-scoring game, similar to the one they had against Cleveland. That score was 16-13. Panthers go and get a winning field goal at the end of that game. The numbers in that game, as I go to the box score, we got Bryce Young was 11 of 20 for 102 yards, no touchdowns and interception. Jordan Love was 26 of 37, 273 yards, no touchdowns and interception. So that tells you right there, 16-13, no quarterback threw a touchdown. Hey, they both turned the ball over once. Defensive game, defensive struggle. I think this was Bryce Young's. I think he returned from an injury as well. And then, like I said, with Tucker Craft going out, and I think Josh Jacobs had a decent day running the football, 17 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown, but that clearly wasn't enough. And I think Tucker Craft not being that pacifier late in the game where they can make at least one or two plays down the stretch, it had to play a part in their game plan down the stretch for Green Bay. And that's the NFC North. So Bears, Vikings get victories. Vikings get a victory in the divisional game, and the Packers lose to a team probably we think they shouldn't have, and we also got to consider that game was at Lambeau. That's something else to consider. Another big thing with the Vikings going into Detroit to win, that's big for Minnesota, but that's how the NFC North is tightening up. Bears go to Cincinnati, win a shootout, and now everybody's kind of lined up, getting ready for the home stretch. We're at this halfway point in the season. Bears got the Giants coming up, and then after that is on. That schedule really gets rough after that. So being healthy and playing at a high level of execution is going to be key for the Chicago Bears. Unless you got something you want to throw back on the division, maybe we can move around the league and we can get up out of here. Right now, as we speak, I think what's the score with Dallas and
17-7 and a half, I think.
See, we literally watching the game as we speak. You know, that's one of the centerpieces about this show. I want to kind of keep that theme going. But the rest of the league, some amazing games around the league, big matchups. Depending on how you look at it, one of the bigger matchups was the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills didn't break at the end and held off the Chiefs. Was able to get to Patrick Mahomes a bit. I don't really look at the numbers for that game, but I don't know if you had a chance to catch that game, but that was probably the marquee game of the week. Josh Allen, 23 of 26, 273 yards and a touchdown. Nothing spectacular, but you talk about Cook, 27 rushes, 114 yards. So Cook is giving something the Bills have not had in recent years going into playoffs, and that's a steady diet in the run game.
That game yesterday, I don't know. I know it was the marquee game, especially in the 3 o'clock window. But didn't it just kind of get off to like the we seen this before kind of feel to you?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it,
It was a great. It was made for television, good for that time slot. But everyone knows the Buffalo Bills need to do this in January.
that's why
They got
that
to beat the
yeah,
Buffalo Bills and the Ravens are in the same boat. They got to beat Mahomes and the Chiefs in January. So we've seen this before. The Chiefs played. I mean, the Bills played well against the Chiefs in the regular season. So fortunately, if it comes down to it, they may get home field advantage. So they did themselves a solid winning that game. But at the end of the day, they got to beat them in the playoffs. That's the moral of the story with this game. We've seen it. It was good for television, good for the time slot. So I mean,
yeah.
I chimed in on a little bit.
That's how I felt about watching it. I mean, it had all the big game propaganda around it, but like you said, to your point, like until we see the Bills do this in January, it's
In the
I've seen it
playoffs.
before. Like I've seen the Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season, and it didn't add up to nothing. I've seen the Bills have home field advantage in the playoffs, and seen Kansas City go to Buffalo and beat them. Like so they tried to sell it to me, and I just felt like I had seen it before. So I kind of like checked out on it, like midway second quarter. I know Buffalo was up, and then I monitored the score for the rest of the game. But when I saw the final, I was like, oh, okay. Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
I want to send a shout out to my man Dominique Murphy, one of my parents. Man, his son is opening up his college basketball career tonight. We talked about this before we went on. Dominique Murphy Jr. at Bellarmine University taking on the Georgia Bulldogs tonight in Athens, Georgia. And unfortunately, I was trying my best to check that to watch that game, but I wasn't able to pick it up. But I will be checking the stat line. I will be looking for the highlights, and I will be contacting Mr. Murphy, Mr. Jr. Later on, probably tomorrow after this game is being played. But I'm looking forward to see college basketball got kicked off tonight as well. As for sure just mentioned, my man Reese Baker, one of my former ball players, he played middle school basketball for me, and cousin Dorothy Dorita Cheatham. So since they watching, I wanted to shout them out, and let them know that I do see them. They got their eyeballs as we on this pod, and we going over this week in review of week 9. So we went over Chiefs Bills a little bit. I think the second biggest game of the day for those in the 317, I shouted them out in Indianapolis. Unfortunately, they dropped to what 7-2, if I believe.
that is correct.
Uh,
Yep.
they go down to the Steelers 27-20. The Steelers needed this game because when you look at the way Baltimore has gotten it going with them beating the Bears uh, uh,
Dolphins.
previously, and then they rest Lamar to do that, get him some extra rest, and then they go into a quick turnaround into riding that momentum into Miami and beat them convincingly, and now they on that mini bye, so you get more rest. And I think the key to Baltimore now is that we know that Lamar Jackson is set up to succeed now that he's healthy, if he can stay healthy. But I think one of the biggest guys that are going to benefit from both Lamar Jackson coming back and this 12-day, I think it's 12 days they get off before they play the next game, is going to be Derrick Henry. I'm looking forward to seeing Derrick Henry pick up steam going down the next few weeks of the season. But get back to these Colts and Steelers. The Steelers needed this game. The
Yeah,
Steelers needed this game for the reasons I just told you. The Baltimore Ravens, gonna make they push in the division in the AFC North. But the Colts had an opportunity to go and play in a big game against a worthy opponent. They found out some about themselves. Now, how they're going to rebound from that, because it won't be long. They'll be playing the Chiefs in, I think, a week or so. So maybe a couple weeks away from playing the Chiefs. So nice to see the Colts go in. They lose 27-20. The Steelers defense was getting criticized all season long. They've been I think they're the most expensive defense in the league. They got a veterans in all three levels of the defense, and they have not been playing particularly well. They went out and they turned the ball over. They held Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor 14 carries for 45 yards, and that's the story. What you got?
Didn't they get? Did I see 5 turnovers yesterday? Did I see that right in that game?
I'm not
I know
sure.
they took the ball away a lot, but for the
you might be right. You might be right. I know Indiana Jones is what they call him. I know he had at least one pick. Daniel Jones, he had at least one pick. No. You're right. He had 3 interceptions. I look at it. He had 3 interceptions, and maybe they fumbled the ball a couple times as I look at the stats. So he was 31 of 50, 452 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions for Daniel Jones. So that's the game right there. They lost the turnover battle for sure. Let's check out Rodgers' numbers. 25 for 35, 203 yards, a touchdown. So decent day for Rodgers, but hey, you can't turn the football over 3 times. There you go.
And that's again, they had 3 turnovers. They lost by 7. So
yeah.
I mean, kind of speaks to, they kind of are for real.
Yeah.
They take care of the ball that game. Maybe it goes a different way. But like you said, they got the Chiefs coming up soon. This is their first time playing at least a marquee team, I think, this season, because they are in the AFC South with the Titans, who are 1-8. Jacksonville right around 500, and we know the Texans have been struggling, and CJ Stroud got hurt yesterday too. So we'll see if Indiana Jones can do it. It's crunch time. You said the Bears, their schedule is about to tighten up and get for real. Well, we're gonna see what happens when we get into November, December football, if these teams like the Buccaneers and the Seahawks and the Colts, if they for real. The Broncos, are they for real? We're gonna see.
Yeah. Exactly. Moving around a little bit, the Bears' next opponent is the Giants. So the thing with that is the Giants, some would say that they're struggling with the loss of Cam Scatterboo. I don't really key in on that game, but they go down to the 49ers 34-24. So they lose that game to the 49ers. And the key to that game was McCarthy. 28 carries, 106 yards. Like I say, once you get the running game going, especially for a team like the 49ers, you got problems. Mac Jones continues to get healthy, 19 to 24, 234 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's finding the rhythm in that offense with the 49ers as weeks go on, and he's continued to carry the load for the 49ers. But with the Giants coming in, their run defense seems to be struggling right now, and with the Bears tend to get their running offense going, that's going to be an interesting matchup. It may be favorable for the Bears, but you call it a trap game. This is a game you cannot allow Jackson Dart to come into Chicago and have a day. I think the running backs for the Giants are capable, but the one thing you got to do is keep Jackson Dart in check, and that's the first step you have in doing that is keeping Devin Singletary under control. Tyrone Tracy, and he's the other running back. But you got to keep the Giants running game under control. You got to keep that Scatterboo factor where it is. If you don't allow that running game to get going, you should be able to dominate the Giants. But it's any given Sunday. I don't want to say the Bears are that much better or that far ahead of the Giants.
No,
only in record. Go ahead.
the Bears play down to their competition a lot of times. I
Them,
truly feel if Lamar Jackson would have been playing in that Baltimore game, I feel like the Bears would have won that game. But I
yeah,
feel like they took their foot off the gas a little bit when they found out Friday that he wasn't going to play. So we'll see. It's gonna be close. It ain't gonna be convincing. It
yeah,
might be ugly. The penalties probably won't get cleaned up. What we are looking for is, like you said, the running game to continue. Can Kyle Monangai still do what he did last week, or what we actually saw for the last 3 games from him?
mhm.
Is Swift gonna be back? What's the status of Cole Kmet? Is Rome gonna actually stop dropping the ball like these easy ones that he should have? Is Caleb gonna be accurate? Like, it's a lot of things we can look for in the game, but the score 24-16, it'll probably be one of those type of games.
Yeah, I can see that. Let's see if I go through the league a little bit longer. The Chargers defeat the Titans in the game we pretty much expected to go that way. Patriots survive the Falcons. Broncos, two of the better defensive teams in the NFL, 18-15 Broncos over the Texans. Um, we mentioned the was that a record-setting field goal in the Jacksonville Jaguars when they went to Las Vegas? They beat the Raiders 30-29. The one of the big things in that was that game went in overtime, I believe. And the Raiders finished down in the red zone, had an opportunity on a 2-point conversion, but Geno Smith gets the ball batted down at the end of that game. But the one of the biggest, I don't know if that was a record-setting field goal. You said it was 68-yard field goal. I forget who it was
I think it was
that
at the
kicked
end
it.
of the first half. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of the highlights of that game. It turned out to be a pretty decent game considering that it did go into overtime, and it went all the way down to the last play of the game where the Jaguars defense got up and batted the ball down on a 2-point conversion attempt. The Saints, uh, they are trying to figure out who's going to play quarterback the rest of the season. I think the rookie Shout went out tonight, went out that and played for the Saints.
Yeah, Tyler
Um,
Shook.
Tyler Shuck, yeah, I got his name mixed up. 15 for 24, 176 yards, touchdown and interception. Matthew Stafford, 24 32, 281 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interception. No surprise. Um, the Rams beating the Saints 34-10 in that game. So I can move on here. We got what's it got here? I don't know if I caught them all. Covered okay, Seahawks Commanders. Two things in this game. Big injury when you talk about Daniel Jones. Major it was 2 injuries in that game. I think the Commanders lost 2 players, the biggest name being Daniel Jones. The Seahawks went into Washington and continue to show that they are the real deal. I put the Seahawks and the Colts in the same boat. The Seahawks have to show me in the playoffs, but they went into Washington. They beat up. They were physical. They ran the hell out the football. Sam Darnold had a decent game. He was 21 of 24, 330 yards.
Perfect
Better
in the
than
first
decent.
half.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns. So it was much better than decent. 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. You know, that's when a quarterback can impact 2 or 3 scores with his feet or with his arm. I have to give him his credit for that. And in the case of Caleb Williams, he did it with his feet, with it, and not with his feet. He threw for a touchdown and he threw for some touchdowns and caught some touchdowns. So I have to give him his kudos too on the Bears victory. But the Seahawks get the job done. They hold up their end of the bargain to show that they're one of the better teams in the NFL. And the teams that did not play that week 9 was on a bye week was the Browns, the Jets, the Eagles, and the Buccaneers. So those teams will be getting back into action next week. I think week 9 kicked off with the Ravens and Dolphins. We mentioned that game, but the Ravens defeated the Dolphins 28-9 in that game. Uh, uh, Derrick Henry, 19 carries, 119 yards. Let's see how Lamar Jackson did. We can wrap up. Look into some games next week, some key matchup next week, and we can wrap up. Lamar Jackson was 18 to 23, 204 yards, 4 touchdowns. So he got it back on track for the Baltimore Ravens, and I think that pretty much. I want to say, let me see. I think that pretty much wraps up Week 9 in the NFL. Um, with us here, watch the game. Um, I'm gonna look ahead to next week real quick, and we're gonna get up out of here and continue to enjoy the Monday Night Football. And I'm gonna watch me some college basketball. I'm probably gonna tune in to the Lakers and Portland Trailblazers. I want to see if the Lakers continue to play NBA action, fantastic entertainment basketball with Luca and Austin Reeves. And I'm gonna try and chime in on some of them college basketball games as well. We with how can I go out? How can I go out tonight? Because we don't talk about it often. But I cannot go out tonight. We cannot do this. We have to mention the World Series. A hell of a
Oh,
game in Game 7. Man, one for the ages. The Dodgers repeat as World Series champions in classic form. I don't care what your team is, who your team is. That was a hell of a game. That was the only time that I sat down and watched anything with the World Series. I had been hearing so much about it, but with work and just trying to stay committed on the NFL, and when I took out that time, it's like everything else stopped for that moment. Everything in sports stopped for that moment. NFL was done. No college football games was on at that time. That was right at the end of the. But maybe they were playing, but the big college football games were done. So I took out the time to tune into that game.
it was Saturday night, right? Or Sunday?
Saturday night. And you
Yeah,
know me, I'm from 11 to 11.
yeah.
It's college football, so it was a tough decision for me. But I did commit to those last 2 innings of baseball. Spectacular. Hopefully the MLB can grow the game with that. But hey man, spectacular. I couldn't go without mentioning them
They
games
said ratings was
real quick.
for the World Series. This is the best ratings they done had in quite some time for the World Series. It went 7 games, had everything that you wanted. Every time it seemed like I got in the car, I was hearing it on the radio. So I didn't actually see none of it on TV. I heard a lot of it on ESPN radio, and it's just a different feel when you hear it on the radio and you actually can't see it. So it was cool to see, or cool to hear. I'm glad the Dodgers won just because the Blue Jays beat the Yankees. But as you know, the Dodgers beat the Yankees last year, so I guess
Yeah.
I ain't really have a dog in the fight.
Hey man, big game for National League, for MLB, for baseball around the world. With me being involved in youth sports, I do encourage kids to play as many sports as you can in high school. And baseball is one of them sports that I think we do need to get more, not just brothers, but just especially the brothers. I like to see more brothers playing baseball. But that was a big game for the sport. Hopefully, hopefully some kids, particularly some brothers, saw that and maybe they can, we love basketball, we love football, man, but baseball need that little punch. Great game. And going into next week, and we gonna wind it down and get out. We go back to this early morning. They gave us a break, but we go back to this early morning broadcast of these 8:30 or 9:30 a.m. games in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, 8:30 Central Standard. I will be up and watching Atlanta playing against the Colts. And we just discussed them coming off a loss in Pittsburgh. Atlanta, they forgot who do they play? Who do we mention? But
Atlanta,
anyway,
uh,
they played New England. New England. They lost to New England.
Yeah.
They came back in the end. They lost by 1. But Atlanta are going to Berlin, Germany, and they're going to be playing the Colts. And then, of course, we got Bears. We got the Giants going to Chicago to play the Bears. Buffalo at Miami. Baltimore going to play Minnesota. So JJ gets a chance to go up against a surging Baltimore team. Got to play big. It's going to be a battle with the purple. So Baltimore going to Minnesota, coming off the bye week. Lamar Jackson back in action. Cleveland going to New York. Both teams coming off of bye weeks. So maybe they made some adjustments. The question in New York is who's going to play quarterback. I think it's going to be Justin. We know the Shador factor, the Dylan Gabriel factor in Cleveland. I think we pretty much know that Dylan will be probably starting in that game. But the who's playing quarterback in those games are going to be big topics, even though those two teams are not particularly winning. But New England going to Tampa, another big matchup that can't be overlooked. New England and one of the best teams in the AFC. Tampa, one of the best teams in the NFC. New Orleans at Carolina. Jacksonville at Houston. Arizona at Seattle. Los Angeles, the Rams going to play against San Francisco. Those are some of the later games. We got the late games are Arizona, Seattle. Those are the 3 o'clock, 3:05, 4:05 spot. You know, that 3 o'clock window for us, 4 o'clock window for Eastern Standard Time Zone. Those games are Arizona at Seattle, Los Angeles Rams playing San Francisco at San Francisco, Detroit at Washington, which when you take Jaden Daniels out of this game, it kills the luster of this matchup. So, but Detroit has to go in and get a win coming off a loss after they just lose to Minnesota. Sunday Night Football, Pittsburgh going into Los Angeles to take on the world's greatest football coaches, Jim Harbaugh. They take on the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Monday night, big matchup here. It's a big matchup now. Philly going to Green Bay. Pretty good, pretty decent week of football in the NFL. They don't let us down, man. They just don't let us down. There's always 2 or 3 big matchups in the NFL. Cincinnati, Dallas, Tennessee, and Kansas City all have byes in week 10. So there it is, man. I think we did pretty well tonight. I mean, I know you hear that beeping noise, don't you?
The only thing you got wrong was the world's greatest football coach is Jim Harbaugh. That was it. That was the only thing.
Do you hear this beeping noise? Okay, great. So if you don't hear, hopefully they don't hear, because it's bugging the hell out of me, man. I turned off. So I thought I had some of my do not disturb, things notifications turned off, but apparently I didn't. So hopefully you guys didn't get it on that side of production, but we had a great night. Thanks for watching. Hey, week 10 coming up. College hoops going on. NBA is about to get heated up. The in-season tournament for whoever cares about that. Hey, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm suspended as a Bear fan. I'm a casual. I'm observing the Shield in the NFL. How do you classify your fandom for the Miami Heat?
I'm suspended. I've been suspended for about 2 years now. You ain't heard me talk about the Heat. So, I follow, the scores and stuff, but I haven't watched the Heat game probably in like a season and a half for sure.
All right. Watch the game. Thanks for watching, man. We'll come back at you next week.
We out.